You are playing too small and it's going to cost you millions. Watch this video if you want to know how to make more money than you ever thought was possible. And it's not going to happen by playing small. It's not going to happen by counting yourself out before you can even get into the game. I'm going to tell you a couple of things I've observed the last few weeks and months that it has come to a head, and I can't keep it to myself any longer. I was sitting here, it's a late Wednesday night. I was watching TV and I checked my messages. And I get about 1,000 messages, I'm not exaggerating, per day across all platforms. And I saw this message, and it was this maybe the 100th time I've seen it in the last few weeks. Something like this, like, this isn't for me. Yeah, it must be nice. You have this because XYZ. If you're not familiar with my story, several years ago I was homeless, and I had been homeless and had housing insecurity for most of my life. Insecurity, food insecurity. I've had some good times, bad times. I found myself at 35 sleeping on the floor, 34 sleeping on the floor of an airport, San Francisco, and trying to raise a venture capital fund at the same time. I know it sounds crazy. That's why I've written 4 books. So the first book is called It's About Damn Time, and it'll tell you all about it. But I've seen some stuff. Today, I've invested in more than 200 companies, and they mostly have been led by underrepresented founders. I call them underestimated women, people of color, LGBTQ plus, and more. I've raised $30 million to do this, including 6 million from Mark Cuban. And today I teach thousands of people how to make their first dollar, their first million online and beyond. And so I get to see a lot of data points. I get to hear from a lot of different types of people. I get to see patterns and signals. And let me tell you what's happening. Let me tell you what's going on. There are people, and I'm going to say it to you. This is my tough love. I got my hoodie on. If you know, you know. There are some people who are counting themselves out, and you may be one of them, completely sabotaging yourself, completely sabotaging your future, self-sabotage. And you may have many reasons or different reasons for doing this. You may have been told when you were younger and growing up, and maybe even as an adult, that you were not good enough, that you were not worthy, that you were not valuable. You may have just seen it. If you weren't told that, you might have seen it in the way you were treated, or seen it in the way that your family treated themselves and other people and each other. You may have seen it or felt it because of a certain relationship, even if you had a great childhood. It may be something that is deep within you that I couldn't describe right now with the time that I have for this video. And whatever the case may be, I'm here to tell you that it's legitimate. How you feel is legitimate. I'll say it that way. How you feel is legitimate. Makes me think about a video that I had that said, F your feelings. But what you feel is okay because it's yours. And now here's this part two to that statement, that sentiment, because I believe that. But I also believe that you gotta break out of it. If you don't break out of that limiting belief that you're not worthy, you are going to watch your life go by and then it'll be over. You're going to get to 80 to 90 to 100, and you're going to look back and say, why did I play so small? Why did I not take a chance? Why did I not believe in myself more? Because of what someone said to me? I let them make me the victim twice. The first time is when they said those things to me or did those things to me. The second time is when I let it block me from my future, what my potential was. You can make a better way for yourself, and you simply must. So I see people who say, oh, that's not for me. I don't know how to do that. I couldn't possibly, nobody, you're a scam because nobody does that. Nobody can do that. I have, I don't know how many hours of footage that you can find on this YouTube channel. I don't even have to tell you about it. You can go look for it. Of people from all over the world. Yes, mostly in the United States because that's mostly where my audience is, but it's not all. Probably 70% is in the United States, 30% elsewhere. We have a map in our biggest membership of 34,000 people, so I could tell you truthfully where people are. I have no reason to lie to you. But I have hours of testimonials of people who I have helped make money. And the reason I make it so plain and simple in the make money space is because there's a lot of nuance behind that. The nuance of it is the same reason I started the venture capital firm while homeless. The same reason that I took money and invested it in other people when I could have taken it for myself. And that is because I want and need you to win in this world, in this life. I just need you to. If you win, I win. If I win, you win. It is an obsession. It is a passion. It is my life's work. And whether that means building a venture capital firm and going up against the biggest titans you've ever seen in the private equity and venture capital space and being torn down publicly in the process and building myself right back on up, whether it means working with thousands of entrepreneurs to help them hold their hand and tell them how to make the first $5, whether it means going into institutionals, going into banks and other institutions and demanding equity and inclusion on behalf of other people. Whether it's someone making $100 and I'm just celebrating in my own place, I'm just dancing around, you'll never see it. But I'm like, yes, yes. The reason I do it is because the nuance of it is if you have more money, you have more options. And if you have more options, you have more freedom. And somebody called me a few years ago the Harriet Tubman of the finance world and of the entrepreneur world. And I like it because I'm trying to get you out of the shackles. And if if I'm doing that, and if that's what I'm getting up every day and saying, okay, how do I make that possible? Then I can't have you kicking and I can't drag you kicking and screaming into your freedom. You got to play a part in this too. You got to run towards me and past me. That momentum has to come from you as much as it comes from me, and more so. And so this idea of I can't do it or nobody can do this, you're just holding yourself back. Please, please tell me in the comments if you're hearing me. Let me know in the comments. This is how we do it here. I'll give you a code where I'm looking around the room to see what kind of code word I can give you that keyword, if you type it, it lets me know that you've seen this part of the video. Can, C-A-N, by itself, just the word can, or you can use the word can in a sentence. That tells me that you saw this. You can pause it, do that, come back to me. Another thing that I've observed that I want to talk about is it's very related, but I want to have it separate here. It's about FOMO and jealousy. There are so many people who are missing out on the big prize or the big prizes, plural, in their lives because they're so damn jealous of everybody else. I don't know what that comes from. It's a lack of abundance. It's a scarcity mindset. It's another form of self-sabotage. And let me tell you right now, it's screwing you over. Let me tell you right now, it is blocking your blessings. It is doing all the things, whatever phrase works for you to understand that all this energy you're spending on being jealous of other people is so wasted. It's a negative. Like it's not even like a waste of time. It actually is a time suck because you got to catch back up to zero to get started again because you're so jealous. And if you're not jealous and if you have no limiting belief around your value, then that's wonderful. Try to spread that to other people as much as possible. Jealousy. Why are you jealous? Because they have something you don't have. Why don't you go get it? I'll tell this story, and people who have been following me for a very long time might have heard it before. I'm going to say it again because I think it illustrates. I was, it was years ago. I'm talking 15, 18 years ago. I'm in Los Angeles and I'm driving to San Diego. I drove to San Diego with a couple of friends and to go party and hang out and whatever. And we're driving back from San Diego to LA late at night. Takes about 2, 3 hours at night with no traffic. And on the way from San Diego, I say, hey, we're gonna stop at someone's home. This was not someone, this is an ex-girlfriend, I'll just say that. It was. We're gonna stop at their home because they have a new house and I want to see it. I want to walk around it, see it. Like invited, right? Not stalking. And we get there, and the ex, who was, a friend at the time, she comes out. And one of my friends says, cool, let's go. Let's go. My other friend says, can't go in there. I can't go in there. I'm like, why? I'm thinking maybe they're riding for me or something, I'm like, we're cool. It's good. She says, I'll be too jealous. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I can still see the inside of the car and her saying that. And I was like, are you serious? Really? Okay. So I go, I look around. It's a beautiful home. You can't deny it. It's a beautiful home. And I remember looking around that home and thinking, bet, bet one day. I mean, I'm broke as a joke at this point. This is late 20s, early 30s. I'm broke as a joke. I'm sleeping on people's couches, maybe having a place here and there, maybe having roommates, but I'm broke. And there's nothing in my life at that point that tells me that I'm going to have this multi-million dollar type of home ever. And I just remember looking around and walking, and there's like this little water installation in the middle, and this, that, and the other. And I just remember saying, yeah, I could do this. I can make this happen, and I will. And the friend who said she couldn't go in hasn't been a lot. I mean, in these 15, 18 years, I would say it's probably been like 16 years or something like that. Um, I'm pretty sure she'll never see this, but so I can say I don't think she's gotten as far as she wants to. I'll just leave it at that. I, on the other hand, have raised $30 million. I generate more than $1 million for myself personally per year just with my info products alone and consulting. That doesn't count the millions of dollars I have in equity in stocks and ownership in companies on my own, not to mention what my fund has. And that house, I don't want it anymore. It doesn't suit my lifestyle. It doesn't suit my taste. But if I wanted it, I could have it. And that was years ago that was true. That started being true. And I believe it's because I didn't feel jealousy in that house. I felt inspired and motivated and ready. And if all places to feel jealous, it's at your ex-girlfriend's house with their new girlfriend in a fancy house. But I promise you I didn't. I said, okay, this is what we're doing. Okay, this is how people live. All right. I didn't know. Now I know. And I still do that today. I go somewhere that has this new ceiling for me. Like my ceiling that I believe is the cap becomes my floor when I walk into these places. That's why I make a point to get myself into certain rooms, to stretch the imagination of what's possible. Um, I Jealousy is doing you in. It's not doing you a favor. It's not. Um, there are a few places I could go next. I don't want to preach at you, so I won't talk to you about alcohol right now, but just put in the back of your mind if you're having an issue with alcohol that I used to be a raving drunk, and I've been sober now for 9 years. As of July 2026, now it's August 2026, but as of July, 9 years sober. I would have never in a million years thought that that was possible. And it has made my life um, infinitely better. So there's hope for you if you're having trouble. I'll leave it at that. Um, I want to talk to you if maybe what I said before resonates, but maybe it didn't because you've kind of pushed past that. And now you've pushed yourself into success. You've pushed yourself into, hey, you make 6 figures a year, maybe even more. You've pushed yourself into, I don't have to look at the menu prices when I order. I can go on a vacation 2, 3, 4 times a year without worry. I want to talk to you because I've seen a lot of this landscape, and what usually comes up right about now is maybe not imposter syndrome, although so much imposter syndrome I've seen recently in that world. So maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome. Maybe we'll stop there just for a moment of um you don't think it's go back to the worthy thing. Like you didn't let it stop you. You got where you wanted to be, but now you don't know if you're supposed to have it. If that resonated with you, pause this video right now, let it sink in. Let it sink in. It's just you and me. Everybody does something they're great at for the first time. Everybody starts from somewhere. There's nobody who's truly where they're supposed to be if you base it on like skill, talent, luck. I mean, Beyonce herself says that she has to turn herself into a character called Sasha Fierce to get on stage. She has imposter syndrome. Beyonce has imposter syndrome. She has to work herself up into a mythical person in order to entertain us. We, no one is supposed to really get this. How old? I'm 45. How old are you? Okay. How old do you feel mentally? Physically, I feel older. Mentally, I feel 18, 21. And I know a lot of people who say they feel younger than that. To be fair, I was had to grow up really fast. But point of this is it's okay not to have it all figured out. Even if you have a lot of it figured out, and you're supposed to be the designated everything in the world. You are the adult in the room. You are the person people come to. That is like so common where someone is the person everybody comes to and counts on, and they feel like they don't have anything figured out. They feel like I got myself here through talent and skill and determination and grit and being kind to people, and I got myself here, but I also don't. know what to do next. There is no manual for this part of my life where my parents or parent are growing older, as everybody does, of course. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do for them. I don't know what I'm supposed to do for any younger person in my life. I'm the one that people call on. So imposter syndrome is just a waste, another waste, another waste. Please, please rid yourself of it. What I was going to talk about is related, and it is when you're successful, what I've seen very recently, and I've seen it for years, but I've noticed it even more recently, is survivor's guilt. Whoa, you make it. You finally make it. You're doing well. And because you may have been dealing with all kinds of insecurities along the way or in the past or whatever, or maybe this is your first feeling this way, like you're like, wow, I've always been a confident person. This is different. I feel, you may say to yourself, I feel like this thing that's like, I don't want to tell people how successful I am. I don't want people in my family to know how much I make. I don't know. I feel like my friend group, I might be making the most of everybody, and I don't know if that's okay. I feel a little guilty. That is survivor's remorse. Something happens to a group of people, you're the only person who survives it. You ask yourself, why? Why was I spared? If you come from something where you didn't have a lot of means and now you do, and people around you have not come up to that level financially, that's all I mean by that. It can feel very strange, and it can feel like maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Have you noticed a theme? And what I have observed, a lot of I'm not supposed to be here. From the brokest of the broke to the richest of the rich, I'm not supposed to be here. It's because we are just these wacky humans bobbing around in space. We are in space too, by the way. I know that's a weird tangent, but we are in space too. It's not just outer space, we are in space. And we're just on this rock, this planet, and we're just figuring out this human existence. And you're not supposed to have it all figured out. So when that translates to the messages I get, DMs, text, not really text, but emails, DMs, posts, comments, uh other people's posts that I just get to watch, and I'm just like it's overwhelming when you see as much as I do. When that turns into this will never work for me, or I've been trying and nothing's working, and all of this is a scam. Not just me, just like the world of info, the world of like working for yourself doesn't seem attainable for most people. Let me tell you, first of all, if you've watched to this point, you are not most people. Like, quite literally, only a small percentage of the people who started this video will make it to this point. So you have to ask yourself, why are you different and how are you different? How are you made differently? When I was younger, I used to feel very, very odd person out. I always had big dreams and big ambitions, and I saw the world askew, and I still do. And I used to think that was wrong because it was reflected back at me as wrong. Oh, you're weird, you know. Oh, you're this or that. And now I tell you what, it makes me so much money. Being odd and being weird and seeing the world askew has made me more money than I could have ever imagined for myself. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just literally the beginning because I believe in the compounding effect. which means if you study that, it means that every year actually gets better and better and better financially. You might have an off year, but in general, the trajectory goes higher, 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 with a little bit of So I don't want us all left behind. I don't want any of us left behind.